this aggressive playstyle, I guess, is not as commonly seen, especially, of course, LGD has experience with, but not so much against Radwarden, and, well, they're learning the hard way right now.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. It looks like they have doing some creep pulling in the 4D Sentinel. I have no idea why that's even good to them to pull. I guess if they could get the creeps out of the way, they could push the top Sentinel tower, which could be the reason here. And through all of that, it looks like the two support heroes, after being cut off their head numerous times, has journeyed to mid lane. They're like, fuck that, I don't want to go top no more. And I'm not too sure what Kunkka could do now.
Yeah. Mid lane has actually been fairly uneventful. I guess YYF did get a decent gank on bot, but other than that, his presence, his global presence has been a lot less than Sosum. So definitely the upper hand right now in this early game going to StarsBoba, and especially with their lineup, this is what they need to do. They need to definitely win this early game lineup. They don't want to go a late game Drow Vengeful Spirit. It doesn't matter what kind of Kraken shell or whatever. That's not going to help at all if they're doing 250 damage a hit. So with a lineup like this, and especially relying on a Nevermore, they're doing exactly what they need to.
Yeah, and Drow. I don't think LGD does have that scary of a kind of a lineup until the Drow Ranger gets BKB, because before then you could still Centaur Blink on her and she's pretty much a nullified. But once she gets BKB, Scourge is definitely in trouble. So let's see if Drow Ranger is gonna skip her Yasha, or I think they go Treads into Helm into Yasha and then BKB. That's the usual Drow build, as we see a chase going on mid lane. That's four kills on Shadow Fiend, 4-on-1. Excuse me. So I was saying, yeah, let's see if Drow's gonna skip her Yasha and go her BKB first, because she definitely need it. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I think they might be doing a tower trade. Well, I mean, I guess StarsBoba's already taken down the tower, and I think they're gonna give away. Those wards do look formidable in mid lane. And really, at this point of the game, normally you go around doing creep checks, but at this point, creep checks actually don't tell the whole story. If we look at Centaur and his hero kill score, that's where his real gold is coming from so far this game. And look at this, he already picked up his Blink Dagger. So ZSMJ, he is being very cautious, and rightfully so. Even with his caution, will they be able to take him out?
I think he will be okay. He does notice there was a nice hawk placement by YYF next to the Scourge Tower, so he definitely saw people teleporting in, and he's definitely calling for help now. ZSMJ only sitting at 815 HP. That is just in one combo from a Stomp Double Edge would take off more than half your HP. Seeing the aggression not being successful, I think Scourge will take this bottom tower fairly easily, so the tower count will be heavily in favor of Scourge as well. So tower counts in favor of Scourge. Head count in favor of Scourge. I think if I pull down the farming menu, we do see Shadow Fiend at 45, but lower than YYF's creep kills. That's fairly strange. YYF spending a lot of time farming instead of ganking. I guess once he picks up his own Blink Dagger, he will be more helpful to his team as well.
That's true. And it's another thing that should be noticed is particularly with all of mid encounter going down here, and Ravage, and Rexar pops a magic wand and he's able to get his ult off. Definitely a great magic wand save there, but then Cask coming in, and that basically could end up saving Leviathan's life. Windrunner is coming in, and is he going to be able to mop up? ZSMJ goes down to a good gush. There goes a failboat from Kunkka, but I think it might be okay anyway, because I think LGD might actually end up coming out with some kills here. If the boar can land, he's not able to land a slow on Witch Doctor. A good torrent doesn't end up actually landing on Witch Doctor either, so Witch Doctor barely escapes, and Voodoo Restoration's actually bringing up, that's level 2 Voodoo Restoration at level 8, and is already going to be at full health before you know it. So that was a fairly good exchange, considering how the game has gone so far for LGD. Although, it still was not perfect. That boat was kind of fail.
Yeah, I have to say that team fight definitely showcased why LGD is not the top team in the world. They have some communication issues. Magic Missile was cast on the Witch Doctor, and ZSMJ right-clicking on the Kunkka. So if they actually landed all their stuns and attack on the same hero, they probably could pick off one or the other. Meanwhile, on the StarsBoba, that Centaur just stomped like 2 or 3 heroes, followed by nice Ravage, and that's why they were really up ahead. And you have to keep in mind that entire last team fight, Shadow Fiend wasn't even there. So I think they fought that 4v5 and they were still pretty much ahead in the kill department. So they are really in trouble. LGD is in trouble.
It's true. And Rexar does have, at this point, he does have a Blink Dagger. So that is the kind of item that LGD is going to need if they're going to... a blinking Rexar ult is one of those kind of things that can turn a game around. Because right now, if they do go in a head-to-head fight, I would definitely give the advantage to StarsBoba. But if they can pick someone off with its Blink Dagger, that's probably the next order of business for LGD.
Yeah, and looking at Shadow Fiend's item, who's been farming pretty well, he looks like he has to pick up an Ogre Axe. I think he's going to go BKB first, which I don't think is the best choice here, considering there's a blinking Rexar on the other side. Of course, the roar does go through the BKB, so I'm not too sure why he's going for the BKB. Maybe the Ogre Axe has just gotten for some extra HP. Could be the case here. And let's see.
Also countered by Vengeful Spirit, swapping.
Yeah, so there's a lot of spells like counters. Yeah.
But, as you can see in mid lane, Venomancer is preparing for an onslaught with a sea of wards. But
no, looks like Shadow Fiend did pick up a Blink Dagger just after the Ogre Axe, so I guess it was just for the HP, as he has a Blink Dagger. And looks like this will be a fairly easily pierced. There is wards, there's a board, there's a tower. Oh my god, this is like Tower Defense 101 from LGD here. This is crazy, and they have Terror too, and Y-axis. You're not gonna.
True.
Well, I'm not. Oh wow!
There goes the blinking centaur. Oh, and that's not even funny. So, man, and I think that was maybe the wrong swap. That he ended up swapping her right next to Nevermore, right after his ult went off. So perhaps that was a misclick. Perhaps that was just an error in judgment. But ended up basically being a nice blinking kill, but followed by a suicide.
She's kind of oh my god, Rexar is going to blink in. We do have Torrent follow. Let's see if there's going to be a crazy bolt. Crazy bolt is going to take off Rexar, but Ravage is going to come in. I think Beastmaster is totally in trouble. Beastmaster is going to eat ultimate, so is Kunkka. But Drow Ranger is going to be here. Drow Ranger really overextending herself. She's going to take a gush. Let's see if it's going to bring down... Oh no, we do see Rexar buying back here, blinking into... Wow, what a dodge on the axe. Nice.
That was a perfect blink dodge there, dodging the blinking Rexar. Of course, Illyria then comes in to join the party a little bit late, but party's over, so they kind of chase her out. Oh, no, party's not over. There goes a swap there from Vengeful Spirit, but fortunately high enough wind run, so she's able to actually continue despite being stunned beforehand.
And Rexar just gave a 60 gold donation to that Windrunner, feeding that hawk. Well done. And definitely, I'd have to say StarsBoba really in a great advantage. But if it's anyone that could come back, it's LGD. I mean, they're one of the most experienced team. They really need ZSMJ to do one of his all-star farming performance, though. Ever since their kind of little breakout from LGD, the teamwork has really been suffering. Of course, the individual skill level is still there, but the only reason that ZSMJ gets the monstrous farm that he usually gets is because of his support players. And, you know, without the teamwork, I don't think LGD could give ZSMJ the farming room that he needs in this game. So we'll see how it plays out.
And to be honest, ZSMJ in some of these team fights, his abilities have been somewhat lacking from what we're used to seeing. In that mid encounter we just saw, definitely, as you said, he was overextending himself. And, you know, he just... Despite being gushed, he just decided to sit down there and bite the bullet, go 3-on-1, and really it was kind of a suicide. And normally we see maybe he's just used to having a better supporting cast around him or something. But I think what it just comes down to was a little bit of poor judgment there. Also in that team encounter they had on bot lane earlier, yeah, we had similar focus fire issues. So. He's definitely going to need to just step up his play in general. Meanwhile, in bot lane, as you saw that gank, Windrunner just got taken out. Basically, a pretty well-executed gank with an X-Torrent.
Yeah, maybe LGD, you know, 18 minutes into other games, she would have like a Manta-style BKB. So maybe he thought he was playing one of those games, but unfortunately, he only has 63 creep kills, which doesn't even haven't even have a Yasha yet. Looks like they will push this level 1 Scourge Tower at the bot lane. Ravage is gonna come in, maybe. There will be a Ravage. Looks like, yeah, there is gonna be a Ravage. They will probably pick off Kunkka. Blinking Centaur, blinking Nevermore. Ultimate not hitting a lot of people. They will pick off the Kunkka. Haste Room is pop on the Nevermore. ZSMJ is definitely in World of Hurt. I think he should TP out right now. No, yeah, he is still gonna TP, but there is gonna be a cast. I think if he TP a little bit sooner, he would be okay, but definitely overextended himself again. No Manta style or BKB on him.
And man, this it's LGD just does not know how to deal with. They've seen blinking Nevermores before, but a blinking Nevermore and a blinking Centaur, that's something new, and it's so offensive. It's really taking them off their guard so far. In fact, once the Centaur and Nevermore come in, it seems to take them off their game, and they just kind of spread like flies. And the encounter from that point on just goes in favor of StarsBoba. As we now see, they're going to take down Roshan. So, man, they're just being totally merciless. Every little advantage, and I think, of course, that's very wise, but, every little advantage, they had this split second to take out Roshan, and they take full advantage of it. So I think StarsBoba is just playing in top form. And LGD definitely is not.
They're definitely showcasing why they won the, I think it was ACG tournament recently. Yeah. Definitely really in top form. Last time these two teams met, they really put on an exciting game as well. I think it was a very active Furion player from So Soon that ganked around the map. Fortunately for LGD that game, they really came back, but I'm not sure if they can come back in this game with the heavy lead that StarsBoba is having right now. They will be pushing on top lane LGD with those Venom Wards, with the Map Hawk overhead, but really one thing about map hacks is that you see them coming, but can you stop it? That's the dilemma that Sentinel is in right now. They see a blinking Centaur looming coming, but what can they do? Absolutely nothing. So I'm not too sure what the hell LGD could do at this point.
Yeah, really, all they can hope, if anything, this game will win from a turtle. And I hope it doesn't get to that point. But another thing is... basically, I think at this point, if we just look at the hero kills, it's 10 to 23. And while they do, basically, I think Tide is also at some point going to pick up a Blink Dagger, and that's going to make their combo all the more devastating. So the problem for LGD is that while they're going to get used to learning how to handle the blinking Nevermore and the blinking Centaur, soon it's going to be mixed up even more, I think, with the blinking Leviathan. In fact, let's take a look at his gold. He's at 1,000, so perhaps he's saving up. He does have an urn at the moment. But that'll make things really interesting. If there's one thing you can say about StarsBoba, as you mentioned with the Roaming Furion game, I remember that game was just really fun to watch. All their games are pretty fun to watch. This strategy is just really fun to watch. It's hard not to root for them.
Yeah, they do some weird ass strategy, weird hero picking. Look at that baller Witch Doctor getting a mecha part. Like, I mean, when do you ever see Witch Doctor going mecha? That's how baller StarsBoba is. Now, the only saving grace that Sentinel does have is Venom Wars does cancel Blink Daggers, and you bet CH is gonna, or whoever's playing, I think it's CH.
Yeah, I think so.
CH is gonna be planting those Venom Wards absolutely everywhere, and if he could cancel a dagger or two before a teamfight, that is pretty effective. So
bot lane right now, if we saw the blinking Rexar did what he was meant to do and ended up getting ZSMJ a kill, but then there comes a blinking Nevermore, and he blinked in the middle of everything, but GX did not have the response time to perhaps swap him, or actually all that was needed was a stun, although maybe it was on cooldown, but ultimately ended up costing GSMJ's life, and all that gold that he may have received beforehand was lost out the window with that death. Meanwhile, back up top, we see one more attack from Witch Doctor ends up giving him a kill. So somehow Witch Doctor's Ramboing this by himself? What happened here?
It doesn't. If you got freaking +6 armor and voodoo restoration, you're like God amongst these kind of Rexar and Kunkka, who does absolutely no damage at this point. And one thing about Kunkka does he's packing some damage. Looks like Kunkka's not farming too well. Usually by this time he would have what he has plus a Vanguard, and unfortunately he is really lacking at this game. He only has 81 creep kills, which is not too bad by amateur status. 4 per minute is not too bad, but this is a pro game, and he is really, I mean, that tri-lane at top just told a story there.